How's it going, everybody? Welcome in to another episode of the Mavs Step Back Podcast. I'm your host, Dalton Trigg. I am joined by our official Mavs Step Back correspondent, Grant Afseth. Also does some great work for us over at DallasBasketball.com. He's actually at the airport right now, heading to Orlando. So really appreciate him finding the time to jump on here for a few minutes. But the Mavs are 5-1 after 6 games. All 5 wins have been clutch wins. Considering how they did last year in clutch games, that seems incredible. They played a league high 55 clutch games and finished 26 and 29 in those games. So to start out this year 5-0 in that category is pretty crazy. But they're 5-1. The competition hasn't been necessarily stiff for them, but a win is a win in the NBA. You got to stack up wins early to avoid getting yourself in a pinch later down the stretch. And so far, they have done that. So the latest win came on Sunday night against the Charlotte Hornets, 124-118. Luka didn't really have his greatest performance by his standards, but he still had 23 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists, and then overall it was a good team win because they had 7 guys in double figures. And the first guy I want to start with is our guy Derek Lively, who we had him on the pod during the offseason. He talked about doing the dirty work and everything, and he was great. He had his best game of his young career so far, 15 points, 14 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block, 7 of 9 from the field. He is second only to Mark Williams, his opponent last night at the center position, in field goal percentage. So he's killing it. He's thriving with 2 Hall of Fame point guards, which, we've kind of figured would be the case, but he has exceeded expectations as far as coming along as fast as he has. So what are your initial thoughts, not only just the Mavs being undefeated in clutch games so far this season, but also Lively's his rapid development?
Yeah, I think it's been impressive. I think, something that really shows like a lot of intrigue about him is the fact that he bounced back from having a underwhelming performance against the Nuggets. Obviously the MVP Nikola Jokic is a different matchup than Mark Williams, obviously, just a little bit, but just
Slightly.
seeing throughout, like the start of his career, he's shown a ability to quickly learn and apply things, and I think he was very helpful, like interior presence, and I think that goes a long way when we're trying to close games because that was a big factor last year with the struggles to win those clutch games, as you mentioned, is that they kept games close because of their lack of defensive execution, and then they didn't have that rim protector to be able to help close things out as well, to make it easier overall. And I think just continuing to see him thrive defensively, learn, as we've talked about a lot of times, has been intriguing. But also, I think something that's been interesting is during the stretch, like the clutch situations last night, and at times throughout games, he's been an intriguing part of their offensive actions. Like he's been like the big in the double drag screens where Tim Hardaway or another shooting threat is the small setting that first screen, and that just really opens things up when you have that actual rim running lob threat to have to account for with Luka running that action, and that's something they did not have last year to be able to open things up for the rest of the offense.
Yeah. I mean, it's completely different for the Mavs in those late games. So, last season, what we were used to seeing guys fold under pressure in those situations, and they would essentially, if it was a close game, it would slip and it wouldn't even be close by the end of it in most of those. And it's like the Charlotte Hornets, for example. It's another team that's had the Mavs number as of the last couple of years, no matter who's playing for them. And they've actually gotten better. The Hornets are better than what they used to be. But, it was a case of one of those teams that had their number when the game started out the way it did. You started to think, okay, well, here we go again. The Mavs just can't beat the Hornets, and they were getting, slaughtered in the rebounding and in the defensive categories. But they turned it around. They showed poise. They fought through it, and they got the win. So that's the biggest thing. And now they'll have their first back-to-back test of the year against the Orlando Magic. And the Magic have been really good this year. They're 4-2. They've been a tough, even in their losses, they've really performed well this season. So Former Mavs assistant coach Jamal Mosley is doing a great job coaching them. And, they've got a lot of stuff going for them. So this is, it's already going to be tough being on the road on the second night of a back-to-back, but it's especially going to be tough against this Orlando Magic team. So, I mean, what are some things you're expecting from the Mavs on this second night of a back-to-back? Should we expect any key pieces sitting this one out?
That actually is unclear because, with the rule changes to try to emphasize, stars playing on the second night of back-to-backs on the road especially, like to kind of cut down on them just sitting like automatically. That'll be something to watch for sure. But I think it was interesting because with Luka and Kyrie not talking last night and then them kind of going to the plane to travel fast, there wasn't really much of a chance to actually gauge whether they're going to play or not. Some people were joking like, in the presser, if Luka comes out and says we'll see, then that usually means no. But we didn't get even hear a we'll see. So
I was kind of shocked,
see, quite literally.
I was kind of shocked because when Jason Kidd came out and he was just like he was kind of like he wasn't. This is metaphorically speaking. He was like snapping his fingers, like come on, let's go. And then, and so as big of a hurry he was in, I was thinking, well, is nobody else going to talk? And the next thing you know, they roll 3 other players out there to talk after him.
So, oh yeah. You got to get the players that are quick to get there.
He was definitely in a huge hurry. So a few more things about this Charlotte game that I wanted to go over here. One, like I said, the Mavs had 7 guys in double figures. Luka led the way with 23, but then you had Kyrie Irving with 18. You had Grant Williams with 18. He continues his hot start to the season, 7 of 9 from the field, hit 4 out of his 5 threes. So he has been a great addition. The defense continues to be great. You had Lively with the 15 points, and then off the bench, Tim Hardaway Jr., 16 points. That's standard procedure for him. And then you had Jaden Hardy with another really good performance off the bench, 15 points. 3 of 7 shooting. He was a +9, which I believe, +9. So he was a team high again in plus minus, just like he was in the last game, and had 14 points and 4 rebounds and one really good poster dunk. I forget who it was over. I don't know if it was Mark Williams or if it was
Nick Richards, maybe.
Yeah, Nick Richards. That's who it was. Yeah, and so it's good to see him getting good minutes now off the bench and contributing in the way that, we thought he could based on, how he's worked throughout the summer and building off of that rookie season he had. So really, really promising stuff from him. What do you think about Jaden Hardy?
Yeah, I thought it was really impressive how he got to the free throw line more than anybody else on the team as well. Like he helped slow the game down. He was aggressive. And actually that's
7 of 8 from the free throw line.
And that's something, if you read DallasBasketball.com over the last couple of weeks, he mentioned, getting stronger. He added muscle to his shoulders to be able to, play through contact, things like that. So that definitely was on display, just putting his head down and attacking the rim and getting in the line. So that's definitely been a big stride that he's made. And, overall, I just think, being ready to shoot off the catch, things like that, that was something that he did great after the All-Star break last year, after he found his shot. And he's continued to deliver in some of those big moments. Like, even in, I think it was the Bulls. Yeah, he had that catch-and-shoot jumper, just ready to shoot, one pass away when Alex Caruso was starting to show help at the nail to be able to basically get the ball out of Luka's hands. And it's up to the spacer one pass away to really make a play. He did it. And that's exactly what you want to see from a guy who's, brought in to be a high-level scorer and complementary option. And he continues to do that. So that's exactly what you want to see from the second-year guard for sure.
I like that he's not just settling for threes either. That on that poster dunk he had on Richards, he was in the corner. He could have launched it and it would have been completely understandable because he's been money from the corner so far this season. But he didn't. He didn't do a full pump fake, but he pretended like he was going to, and then he just dipped under the guy and went directly to the rim, dunked it. The rest is history. He got the and one. Like you said, the 8 free throw attempts, that's incredible for him in just 15 minutes off the bench. Huge for the Mavs. So if he can keep that up, he's going to be a mainstay in Jason Kidd's rotation for the rest of the season, whether they do anything with Tim Hardaway Jr. or not, as far as, trading him or keeping him or whatever. So he's kind of forcing his way into having rotation minutes, which is great to see from a guy that's 21 years old. So
I thought it was
good
great as well that he responded to Luka. He was frustrated with him at times. There was a couple plays, I think, where like he didn't pass the ball back after spacing the corner and getting the ball, and Luka wanted to kind of slow things down because I think Tim Hardaway kind of frustrated him as well, like on a recent play where he kind of just attacked downhill after he kind of sprayed it ahead and took a tough two and missed. And I think Luka wanted to settle the game in, and just having a young player that responds well to that kind of criticism, especially from the superstar who, like Lukas said last year, like about Christian Wood, like, sometimes it can be frustrating to play with, and so being able to be 21 and kind of take, the superstar, kind of getting frustrated with you a little bit, and then responding well and making big plays in the second half, I think that bodes very well for both his maturity level and his ability to make an impact on the game.
Well, it also just shows how intelligent he is to know, because I mean, Luka has one of the most brilliant basketball minds out there. Like, he knows what he wants. He knows what needs to happen, during certain situations throughout a game. And I think that's one reason why guys like Hardy are more open to criticism from him. They realize, like, hey, this guy is a basketball genius. He knows what he's talking about. And so I can learn from this. And so they take the criticism and they do better the next time. So it was great to see. I mean, look, the Mavs, it has not been perfect by any means necessary, but 5-1 is 5-1. They will certainly take it based on how they've gotten off to slow starts over the last several seasons.
Especially after a 12-day preseason international excursion, for sure.
Everybody was saying that, they might get off to a slow start because of that extended overseas trip, but it has not been the case so far. But again, it hasn't been perfect, but they've found a way to win, and that's what you want to see. Because in Jason Kidd's first 2 years coaching this team, after the 30-game mark, they have been under 500 each time. So 15 and 16 each year under Jason Kidd. So hopefully that changes this year, and they're certainly off to a good start. We'll see what they do tonight when they face the Orlando Magic on the second night of a back-to-back. Should be a fun game. It's not – the second night of back-to-backs aren't as frightening for the Mavs since they have a lot more younger talent than they used to in the past. So we'll see how it goes. It's the first chance for guys like Derek Lively to really perform on the second night of a back-to-back. So, guys, look, we appreciate y'all joining us for this brief recap of Mavs Hornets, and be sure to go like, rate, and subscribe on all your favorite podcast platforms. Hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. Go to Grant's channel. You can find him at Grant Afseth on YouTube. Give him a subscription as well. Putting up great stuff over there. And then also go to DallasBasketball.com, where we will have lots of really good game day content throughout the day and throughout the night when the game starts. Grant has a piece where he spoke exclusively with Hornets rookie Brandon Miller that's coming up here in the next 30 minutes or so. So keep your eyes out for that. Guys, we appreciate it. Y'all have a great rest of your day, and we will see you next time.